Hi everyone, Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat. So, unusually, I've made a card. I'm immediately putting the video up. And the reason is I'm a little bit not ahead on most of these ones for Martin's 30-day of Christmas card making challenge. So, today's challenge is Gingerbread Dream. So I stood and did a load of die cutting, as you can see, of lots of gingerbread men, using that little die, and some in the craft and some in the white. And I'm going to ink up all my little gingerbread men, and then I'm going to create a background, and then I create the fiddliest card in the world, because I then use the white gingerbread men that I have die cut. I use all those little cut apart pieces to create the icing. So it takes quite a while, and I only made it this afternoon. So we're very much on the back foot today. I didn't know if I would join in on every day anyway, but I was so inspired. I kept going onto the Facebook group. Please do go and see the description below to see the link to the Facebook group, because there's so many inspiring people sharing their designs and their responses to the challenge. So you can see there the craft cardstock. I then created a panel for the background and I inked that up too. And now I'm sticking my little gingerbread men down, each of which I have inked using the distress ink in Vintage Photo. It just gives a little bit of separation. I don't think it comes out as well on the video as it does in real life. But in real life you can absolutely see that these are all little individual pieces. But it is meant to be a background. I'm not creating a focal image here. I am creating a background. As you can see there, I underestimated how many little men I would need, and so I'm having to create some more and then chopping them in pieces to go around the edges. And I don't mind that some of them are hanging over the edges. That's fine. I will chop them all down in the end. So this is the final one that I think I'm adding, and I do a little bit of a butchery to my little gingerbread man, and then I stick him on the edge there, and then the other half of him on the other side. So it just looks like a full sheet, and then starts the fiddly stuff. So this is sort of sped up a few, I think, times 5. At this point, and you can see I'm just using my little pokey tool to both add the glue into the little dots and to try and pick up the little tiny white pieces of cardstock that have come out of the white die cut gingerbread men. And this takes ages. It's sort of therapeutic, but it's equally frustrating. So it's not one for mass making, this card design. It's definitely not one for mass making, but they are so very, very cute. And at one point I did think, well, maybe I'll just chop it down and make a smaller square card, and I went, no, I'm going to persevere. So I do all of it. Now you can see here I've heavily sped up the video now. I think we're on to about times 15, because I think it took me about an hour in total to do all of these little gingerbread men. So this was the only idea that I had, might I just add, that when I saw Gingerbread Dream, I don't have a huge amount of gingerbread themed products, but I do have this little die, and so I thought, right, well, I'm going to use the little die, and I just had this idea of sticking my little gingerbread men on a background and piecing them together. I did go and have some lunch in the middle of this, so I've just come back from having my lunch because this was just taking so much longer. So you can see now I have a cardigan on. I didn't have a cardigan on when we started. But yeah, I carried on just doing bit after bit after bit. And then it turned out I hadn't die cut enough of the white gingerbread men, so I ran out of little pieces as well. So, just an extra frustration. But as I say, I didn't have a plan as to what I was going to do to finish the card off. So yeah, there was a little bit of a change of plan happened, because I originally thought I was going to use those white die cut men and do something with them, but that's going to have to be for another card at some point, but you'll see in a minute what I mean by that. So I did edit out a little bit of that little fiddly work, and then I took some white gesso and I did some splatter, quite a lot of splatter actually. So this is when I had the idea that I was going to create some little gingerbread men out of those white gingerbread men, and I thought I'd ink them up first with distress ink and then dry them off a little bit, and then added the same with some distress oxide. Again, still keeping to the vintage photo, I thought it was kind of a good colour to use. Again, sort of dried them up, and then I inked them with my blending brush. Apologies, I've not speeded this up enough. Right, so I inked them up with my blending brush, and they create really nice little gingerbread men. And I thought, oh, I can add them on as a topper over the top of the actual card base. I did decide I was going to stack them up so they become like quite chunky little gingerbread men, which is quite nice. And I ummed and ahed about putting them on a white panel, whether I'd do something else with them. Oh, sorry, this is where I just trimmed down my panel to get rid of those little overhanging bits and make sure it was straight on each side. But yes, this is me deciding what I'm going to do with these gingerbread men, and they definitely don't look right straight against the background. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll create a little panel for them to sit on. So this is me creating like a little oblong for them to sit on. But you know what I felt? I felt that looked quite cute, but I really was missing how much of the background I was missing from doing that. So then I thought, right, I'm going to stick maybe some vellum down. Oh, sorry, at this point I was deciding on, actually I need a sentiment. So I found a sentiment, that's what I went and did. And then I thought, right, I'm going to put vellum down instead. So I decided on a vellum circle. At this point I was still thinking in my head I might use the gingerbread men. But I then decided, no, that joy die was better. And then I ummed and ahed with this sort of like linen type ribbon. Again, decided that wasn't the thing to do. Yeah, I was still trying to work out how to use it, whether it would work or not. Then I decided, no, that's not right either. And I decided, no, I was going to absolutely stick with my circle and my joy. And then I was umming and ahhing about bringing some leaves in. So you can see I was totally undecided because I hadn't even thought past the background. And then the background took so long, I didn't really think about it. So I found this white die cut ring frame type thing. So I stuck that one down first. Then I had that little craft circle that I had created that I thought would be great to go underneath the joy, just to give it a little bit of separation. It also helps to hide the adhesive. And then my circle of vellum I stuck up onto those foam tabs just underneath where that craft circle was, and then glued my joy down. I then decided I'd use some little hearts. So this is me deciding which size of hearts and where I want to put them. But I ended up with the two different sizes, one larger and two small, and those tiny little kind of craft coloured, I think it's crumb cake cardstock that I've die cut at some point. So I've stuck all of that down, and now I need to work on my card blank. So my card blank is going to be white because I think that'll bring out those white bits of icing, the white splatter, and obviously the white underneath the frame and the sentiment. So I've made myself a top folding white card blank. I'm using some quite heavy duty red line tape there to be able to stick it down because there was a little bit of warp into the cardstock. And then I decided to just use that last little gingerbread man because I had one left in the craft, and I thought I'd stick him inside, and then I'd find him a little heart to hold, and so he's got a little heart in his tummy, on his tummy area. I do end up just not quite sticking that down straight, and I realised, and then I tried to fiddle, then I'd move it around, and decide I'm done. So love how this ended up, but oh my goodness, it was fiddly. So not one for mass making, as I said earlier, but I do really like how it came out. So I hope you did enjoy this. Please do give me a thumbs up if you did, like and subscribe and all of that kind of stuff. Hopefully I'm going to get some more videos made of Christmas cards, but even if there's not, there's bound to be something. So until next time, bye bye.